Okay. Mm-hmm. There we go. I just had to quit and restart it. Yeah, apparently it was just... Yeah, there we go. All right. Appreciate it. Yup. Let me know off the bat if... I say let me know off the bat if this shit works or not. Copy. Thank you. Bye. All right. So, I'm live, and at least Jake is in here. Hopefully, more will join. Um, yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since I've been in here. So, right off the bat, excited to be back and doing some draft content because that's what I do. So, open form, like I said, the whole plan is I have no plan. I want to talk draft. I want to just kind of vibe, answer any questions you guys got, and see what I can answer. I don't plan on doing like a full on big board right now. I think big board will probably come in shortly. I've been doing a whole bunch of prospect watching, and I think big board, mock draft, all that fun shit will come. I will answer some questions though, so if you guys do have questions about who X team should draft, I'll try to kind of gauge it based off of where that team's at in the current standings and where the current picks are and what they should look for though. So don't feel afraid to ask questions about that shit because I'm happy to answer. Just know that my personal stuff won't be up here quite yet. I plan on doing individual videos for that stuff now that I'm back. So with that running preamble said, obviously I got fanspo up here just because it's probably the cleanest thing for draft stuff. Right now I can bring up Tankathon too because I know a lot of you guys use Tankathon. I do too from time to time. But yeah, let me do that actually. Let me bounce between the two. Tankathon, let's go. So much Tankathon. Let's go to their big board. Okay. First question up. Bill, who's the most overrated player in this draft, in my opinion? It's a great question. Overrated players in this draft. There's a couple, honestly. Right off the bat, my first thought is Jaden Ivey. I think he's being put into this top category with Chet and Jabari and Paolo, and he doesn't deserve to be there. I do see Tankathon's got him like in a tier 2, Paolo, AJ Griff, and Jaden together. I think a lot of people see this as a 1 through 4 draft, and then kind of that line in the sand from 5 to maybe 9-ish. I just don't think that Jaden Ivey is the guy going forward. He's not a good enough point guard right now to be your true number 1. He's not a good enough shooter. Doesn't play well enough off ball to be a true shooting guard. So I have my concerns because he kind of falls in the middle. I think that he's got a lot to prove from a standpoint of being an off ball shooter. Catch and shoot wise, he's got a lot of room to grow. I wouldn't take him top 5 in this draft class. And I know that's probably sacrilegious. A lot of people love the athleticism, love the way he can attack. with the ball in his hands. I just don't think he is an efficient enough scorer with the ball in his hands. Today, he had a terrible performance shooting from three. Rough game for Purdue. And again, like, I think he's gifted with really good teammates. I think that they've probably got one of the best small ball fives in the draft. And Williams, I think that Zach is a matchup nightmare because he's just freakishly huge. So, like, I think that he's in a unique situation where, hey, his rookie year or his freshman year was so terrible. Everybody kind of, just pushed it aside and went, hey, let's not even worry about it. Let's let him come back. He's athletic. He's strong. He's gifted as far as that. But I just don't think he's a good enough shooter or facilitator to truly be like a number one on a team. Ryan, Bryce McGowens, top 30 pick, ? Also, what team should draft him if you have enough info? All right. Good question. Bryce McGowens is a top 30 pick, definitely. I think that as far as his draft stock has gone, as the year's gone on, he's looked better. Rough start, but he's a good wing as far as his measurables. Like, everything you want from wing standpoint is there. I really am curious to see how he continues to grow because right now we've seen him succeed at getting to the line pretty often, and I think that's where his money is. The outside shot, hit or miss at times. I don't think he'll ever be a phenomenal three-point shooter, but he doesn't necessarily have to be. He seems like a pretty well-rounded wing, but it's that ability of ball in hand creation, being able to bring the ball up the court and finish all on your own and not being so dependent on others. Like, he's probably one of the more complete offensive, like, big wing prospects in this class. So I'm really excited to see where he goes. Definitely first round talent. But as far as where in the first, probably that 15 to 25 range would be my guess. So if we brought up mock draft on Tankathon, that puts us, let's see, Rockets, Thunder, of course. Honestly, a team like the Pacers wouldn't be terrible. I think that 19 on seems like a really likely area if this stands. Obviously, who knows? But I think for a wing with his size, his ball handling ability, like, I could see the Pacers being a good spot for him. A couple of teams definitely interested in him, but, like, the Mavs. If he fell down to, like, 25, 26, that Mavs-Grizzlies area, that might be best fit for him to succeed in the NBA. So I think that area is right around where he should go, but people could fall in love with him. Next up, King E. Who should my Knicks draft? Oh, what a fucking loaded question. My guy. You guys picked a bad year because I feel like the Kings are a team that truly needs a point guard. And, like, right now, Tankathon 100% has it. Ty is the best point guard option on the board and potentially in this draft class. Just FYI, I don't believe Shaedon Sharpe will be in this draft. I'm just going to get that out of the way right off the bat while you guys are all here. All signs, all commentary has pointed to him returning to college. I think he'll probably be a top 3 pick going into next year. I don't think that he comes out this year without playing. It just seems very, very unlikely from everything he, his coach, his personal trainer has said publicly. So as far as the Knicks, Ty would be a great snag. I think that he's another one of those guys who, because of the Kentucky system, because of the guys he's playing around, he is more fit into a small role, and we'll see more what he can do at the NBA level. Kentucky guards notoriously kind of watch their game grow dramatically upon hitting that next level. So, like, year one, Kentucky is all about, like, hey, learn the system, learn your role, try to be efficient. He's been hit back by a couple of nagging injuries this year, but I think the creation is there for him. I think he loves the ball in his hands, but he can also catch and shoot and finish. So, like, combining Ty as your main, your primary point guard, and then RJ, Quentin, Deuce, like, you guys are going to have a nice set of guards who can play on and off ball. I really like that group going forward. I think Ty could become that primary creator, and I could see him succeeding really well if you guys don't do something in free agency. Likely, but if the draft stands right now, like, obviously the biggest need on paper is that point guard position. I don't disagree with Tankathon on that front. Tim, will Max Christie be a first rounder? Fuck no. No, he should not be. And I'm so sick. And again, this I don't mean this to come off hatefully. It doesn't. He is not good enough to be a first rounder right now. His shooting, like, he's a player who I watch him play basketball, And if you cover up the result of what happens, just watch him as a player, it looks pretty good. It looks smooth. He knows how to carry himself on the court. His shot motion is pretty good. Everything about his offensive game seems smooth. That is the word I would use to describe him. The problem is the ball doesn't go in. He's wildly inconsistent as far as when his shot hits. And I think the system is pretty good. I feel like he's a 2-year player. I think that if he tried to come out this year, he would have a guarantee from someone to be picked in that like late 1 range, maybe a 20 plus, 20 to 30. Even I don't know if I would come out if I was not a first round guarantee if I was him, because I think Max Christie honestly should be a massive like 2nd-year player for next year. I think that if he comes back, he has the potential to be kind of that late lottery mid-range first rounder if he just starts working on hitting that shot more consistently. I know they're a team who needs a true point guard, and we'll see what happens with this recruiting class. But regardless, I think he needs another year. I think he needs to stay in college 1 more year, and he can be a first-round pick. Right now, as it stands, he does not have the talent to be there. Like I said, a lot of his game looks good. I don't know if it's a Brandon Boston Jr. situation where, like the college game, you just kind of have to look past the results and understand that the prospect himself is very, very good, and he's just raw, and you need to work with him. So it could be one of those situations. That's the only asterisk I will give to him. Other than that, I don't believe he is a first-round talent. Next question. I can't even pronounce your name. I apologize. Tyrtical. Sorry. Thoughts on Blake Wesley? My first thought is he's a nice combo guard. He's young. He's athletic. He attacks the rim. I feel like he is a little lazy on defense. I think that his upside is getting a little bit of a shine from playing at Notre Dame. I think he's getting a little more attention early in the season. As of late, it's kind of died off a bit. I think he is in that like weird situation where if a team falls in love with him during workouts, he could be a first rounder. I don't have him ranked as one right now. I think that Blake is probably, I don't want to say like best of the rest kind of category as far as like 35 through 45 range. And again, like as a freshman who literally like kicked in the door on the scene, I don't know that it's worth it for him to not take 1 more year at college, come back, be more of a complete player, show a little bit more on the defensive end, show a bit more as far as bringing some consistency to the 3-point shot. Because those are 2 things that, like, free throw shooting is the easiest answer as far as like, hey, if you become a better free throw shooter, we assume that shot motion will carry over to the 3-point shot, and we can see you getting better over time and easily predict that, like, okay, your NBA 3 should be good. I think that he needs another year of polish. I think he could easily go first round this year, though. That's a thing. Like, there are going to be teams who are going to want that, like, upside pick, and he is a guard who absolutely can bring it. So I feel like potential-wise is through the roof with him, but I think that where he's at right now, he's not a top 30 player in this class, but team could fall in love. I personally think he's a back of the first round, but more than likely a 2nd-round pick and should come back if he does not receive that guarantee. Soapy. Eason for the Knicks. Good player, good defender, good wing. Goes downhill, ball in hand. I just don't know. The Knicks have so many needs that obviously BPA as the ruling, as you guys know, should always be the answer. 100%. And I think that is fair. The problem is the Knicks are in that situation where Tom Thibodeau needs to be fired at the end of the year so they can move forward with their new young core. Right now, they're kind of stuck in that middle ground. So I'm thinking that Tari Eason will be a great pickup if he's available for them. But I just feel like until they make a decision, if Tom stays, there's a chance they go out and they get a veteran point guard, and then Tari would be perhaps BPA for them. 10 might be a little high for him. I know I'm looking at Tankathon. This is not my board, but I do want to put that out there. Ryan, have you done your research on Nicola Jovic? Yes, absolutely. Liked him last year, pulled out. Nicola's probably lottery talent this year. 100% is a big wing who is able to create a little bit, really comfortable shooter. Like, he's a big shooting guard. Moves the ball well. He hasn't had a ton of shine as like a primary option overseas right now. He's had a couple of games, maybe 3 or 4, where he showed that capability, but there's a lot of confidence there. And that's what you like to see is a player in rhythm. And I think that he will translate really well to the NBA. But again, it's more of a fit thing with him going forward, because if you try to play him, as a traditional 6'10 kind of guy, not going to work out well for you. But I think he's lottery talent, and I think he's probably just on that edge of, like, is he top 10 on my board personally? Draft targets for the Bulls from Chainsaw. Whew! Draft target for the Bulls. Dude, there are so many needs for us. I think this has Walker Kessler going at 19. I don't think he'll be there for us, but if he was, I would absolutely love it. I think the Bulls are obviously going to be targeting BPA, though. This is, look, as easy as it is to say, hey, Bulls need a backup center. We need to get somebody to help shore up, because obviously we're all seeing the effects of not really having one until we got TT, who is retiring at the end of the year probably. I think the Bulls really are just going to go BPA. That is the AKME style. That is the methodology. So I trust in whatever they're going to do. I think that obviously defensively we have great prospects as far as role players. I think we're going to take a BPA wing likely if the centers are off the board. Like obviously Duran, Walker Kessler, and probably Mark Williams could be off the board. I like Christian Koloko a little bit more than Mark Williams personally. But there's definitely some centers who could be intriguing. I just think this year is so loaded on the wing. That's, for me, I feel like value-wise, we're going to go with that route and maybe look for a steal late, getting back in. Where would I leave off at? Tim, I'm not sure. Oh, I was definitely talking for Max Christie. No, I don't. Chet clear number one guy in my opinion. Yes, Kingy, he is absolutely the number one guy. Ryan, are people sleeping on Jaden Hardy? I had a lot of hype, but Jaden Hardy has been atrocious in the G League. We can openly admit that he has not been very good. His shooting is inconsistent, the nicest word I can think of. I really think that he would benefit from probably another year in the G League. The problem is, like, he doesn't have a coach who is strict enough on him to keep his shots in check. He has a green light, and he feels like he has a green light, and every one of his shots feels like it's the right shot to take, is the problem. He needs to learn his own, like, what his role should be and where his shot should be. He should not be the primary guy taking, 15 to 18 shots a night right now. He's not good enough. They're bad shots. It's bad basketball IQ on the court. I think he's got incredible potential still, but I think he just has too long of a leash. And that's really going to hurt him early on in his career, because I think if you brought him along slowly in the G League, there's a better chance for him to kind of learn the game more, be more efficient, and play within the flow of the game, rather than making a lot of really poor possessions, taking early shots, and honestly not helping his team. Which I get it. It's the G League. It's like, hey, it's my chance to pop off and get, national attention. So there's a conflict there of, if you should play to win games or if you should play to try to personalize and spotlight your own game. Ideally, they kind of match up right in the middle, but in his case, it's not been great. I'm going to take a hot second to take a breath and a drink. I've been speed writing this, but I do talk a lot, as you guys know, and I talk fast, so I will catch up on these questions in a hot second. Okay. Round two. I can tell you this is an MSU. Okay, so Soapy's still talking. Max Christie, absolutely. Yeah, he shouldn't come out. I think there's a couple guys from MSU. Same story. Better draft class last year or this year? Great question, D from Detroit. Top end talent this past year is incredible. I was talking in our Discord. If you guys haven't joined our Discord, down below. I think most of you guys are probably from there. 1 through 8, 7 of them are hits instantly, and Suggs is not far off. I think he's, going to be very good. I don't know if he'll be great, but like the level of hit at the top of the class and the insane potential is incredible. I don't think we have that here, but I do think we have a really deep class. I think this year, year over year, we're seeing better talent, better and deeper talent coming to the NBA. Like every year should get better because kids are starting basketball earlier in life. The training for them is there. The coaching, the AAU systems, like all this stuff is starting to build up. We're getting really insane talent. out of these kids. So I think we're getting better talent heading to the NBA. I think there's going to be more and more players who are going to be cycled out of the NBA probably earlier in their careers. That's why I'm excited for the expansion that'll probably happen in a couple of years. So I think top end talent last year, this past year, like the rookies right now are incredible and are better. But coming into this year, I think that we will have probably equal depth, if not potentially more depth. There's just a lot of upperclassmen who have really impressed me this year. Last year, Green's John. Tibbs hates young cores. Yeah, I know. What up, Ali? Harrison Ingram, first rounder. Does he fit for the Warriors? No. I mean, look, Harrison Ingram is a very raw prospect as far as his skill set. I think he's got really good vision for his size. I think he's a solid rebounder. Can he play in a system for the Warriors? His three-point shot will need some help, obviously. But I think that he is not going to be their target. I think they've got a lot of different directions they can go. The Warriors are more so of like, can you fit the system kind of a team rather than like, are you the best possible talent available? I think that they went that route with Dern. I think they went that route with, I want to say his correct name and not the name that Jake gave him. Jonathan Kuminga, not the name that Jake calls him constantly and is super hilariously inappropriate. I think they went with raw talent there, and those both are long-term projects for them to help build around and be, that transitional core. Moses Moody, on the other hand, is someone who's a plug-and-play guy who we watched last night, a couple nights ago, just go off, drop threes, no problem. He's a 3-and-D player instantly, and I think that that's where they'll return to now that they're going to be coming later into this draft class. As far as Harrison Ingram, though, probably first rounder, is close. I don't have him first round. I think that a team might be interested by him, though, but not a Warrior. Where's the rest of the cast? It's just me tonight. Ricky's out. I'm solo. I've been jamming the mock drafts. I've been jamming the college games. So I want to give you guys a session because it's been a long time. It's been a really long time since I've been back. Lots of shit going on, so I'm happy to be back talking draft. What is the probability of Kai Soto being drafted? If you asked me this a month ago, I would have said 0. He's had a couple of really good performances, though, in the NBL. I know he gets a lot of love from a certain group of people, and I don't know that I necessarily believe that he will be good enough to transition to the NBA right away. I think he's someone who should be taken in the second round and be stashed or return back to the NBL one more year. Like, I think he should have another year overseas, another year in the G League, and then he's like 2 years away from being ready for the NBA, in my opinion. Like, he's just still very raw. He's getting better, though. He's improving rapidly. I do see some upside in his game overseas. The same thing with Usman Jing, another guy who literally a month ago I would have been like, this guy's not, like, he's terrible. He's absolutely terrible at basketball. He's 6'10", he's long, but his game looks so poor. But he strung together a couple really good performances, and now it's back to the point where he's like, shit, he's intriguing. He's got length. He's got size. He's got length. And I will be right back because someone's at my door, unfortunately. Slight break in the action here, guys. I apologize. Sorry about that, guys. When the door rings, you gotta answer. I did not plan that, though. But, where was I? International, Kai Soto, Usman, Dieng, both have improved their draft stock as of the last month of the season. I can see Dieng getting drafted potentially at the top of the... I think he's a second-round talent. I think Soto is either the back end of 2 or he goes undrafted, stays international, comes over, like G League it up. I think he's got intrigue. I don't think he's 100% there quite yet, though. But he's much better of a prospect now than he was a year ago, 2 years ago. Like, 2 years ago, I thought he was a joke of a prospect. He just had so much ground to cover back. Now, more reasonable. I think he's actually someone who can make it to the NBA at some point. It's just right now he's not ready. Right now he's not ready. Yeah. Appreciate it. Chet is gonna get bullied. Warriors get that big man from Fresno State. I love it. Chet probably will have some issues as far as his size. He's got a lot of weight he could put on. A lot of people are saying his frame doesn't look great for that, but Chet plays tough. Like, that's the great thing about him. Like, that kid has so much emotion in the game, and he wants to prove people wrong as far as his size. He plays tough inside. He's gotten continually more opportunities as the season has gone on. I love him. I think he hits the NBA as a 4. He's going to play in a similar role to Mobley. Better facilitator, probably not able to cover the three-point line as well, but I think that he can absolutely create. I think he is instant offense, good grit, great shot blocker, great weak side rim protector. Like, he has so much to his game. I don't know where he goes as far as, like, okay, if he lands on a team like Detroit versus a team like OKC, like, obviously there isn't going to be a Jared Allen next to him to babysit. So, like, that's going to be a transition for him that he will have to work on. But I think that he's going to have a very high level of success when it comes to hitting the NBA. I'm just nothing but confidence for him. Which I'm not answering that one, Tim. Okay, thank you, Tim, for correcting yourself. Best pull up game. Honestly, like, pull up game. That's a tough question because, like, my brain instantly goes to, like, either AJ or Johnny Davis. Like, both those guys create for themselves off the dribble. Both are super good. Ty's so good at it too, though. Like, there's a lot of good shot creators in this class as far as their pull-ups. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good ones this year. Does college basketball landscape change with the option of going to the G League? Absolutely, but only for a select few. Like, I don't think that we're going to see more than, like 5 guys any given year. I think that that's probably the best case scenario right now, and it's really only for guys who are willing to take a risk, because I think that obviously every year is going to be a little different. Like, I can talk about, now that we've seen 1 year of play out of these guys, looking back at, like, someone like Daishan Nix, who had a disappointing G League last year for the Ignite team. And he was criticized for coming in overweight. True. He was criticized for being slow on the court. There being some serious concerns around his physical health in general. All those were valid. He basically got pushed so far back on the board, but watching him in the G League this year has been awesome for him. The Rockets G League system, he looks like a great point guard. He's worked on his shot. Like, there's a clear change in who he's been in the last 12, I'd probably say about, 18 months. I'll say 18-month window from when he first entered the G League to where we're at now. I mean, he looks really good. I'm really excited for him coming forward. So, like, he's a guy who, his draft stock was definitely hurt, but he's had another year to get better. He's had another year. And I do wonder, like, the coaching staff down there has changed a little bit, so we'll have to see how this year's group does. But JG4 was a stud in the G League. Obviously, it didn't hurt his draft stock one bit. This year, I think we've seen, obviously, Dyson Daniels is the top guy down there as far as from a coaching and a scouting standpoint. But Hardy has literally murdered his draft stock. So, like, it's kind of all over the place. I don't think there's a one guarantee one way or the other. I just think every year there's about 5 openings, and it's a good opportunity if you don't think college is the right way. Who decides that for you? I don't know. I almost wish that... oh, God, who's the kid who went to Memphis, who dropped out of Memphis this year? He should have gone to the G League because he was a year younger. He was the same age as Scoot. Scoots looked great, by the way. Year out, that guy, fucking incredible. Scoot Henderson should be a top 3 pick next year. So, like I said, some ups, some downs. Hard to predict, though, as far as who's going to succeed. going up against grown-ass men. Chet is Sean Bradley Part 2. Hell no, you fucking hater. No, everyone wants to hate on him. No. Johnny Juzang regretting not staying in this year's draft. Yeah, it stayed about the same. You're right. Absolutely right, Ryan. Juzang has been about the same player he was last year. We haven't seen any change really at all. He's still a mid-second rounder. I think that the biggest thing for him is he didn't conclusively get better at one thing. He is about the same player he was. His shooting's still good. He still looks like a plus athlete for the college level. His passing isn't elite. His defense isn't elite. UCLA's on a loaded team, so now the expectations are even higher. Last year, they were like a darling team, and that push through March really raised his draft stock from being undrafted to like maybe pick 37, 40 range at the highest end. And now with him being on a loaded team, and especially with Peyton Willis, the name's I'm forgetting the name. They have a young wing who's done absolutely nothing there this year, who was a top talent. Somebody will help me out in the chat. And yeah, that's exactly like the problem. So like, I think the expectations changed, and we always expect people to get better. A la Ben Mathurin. He was someone who was literally looked at as, top 20 pick last year because of his efficiency. We're like, you want to come back? Okay, fine. You got to do better. He has. He's absolutely done better. He's been more assertive. He's been more dominant of a shooter. His stroke is so good on the outside. Confidence from three. Great defense. Like, he put it all together, and now he's, 7, I think, on a lot of people's big boards. So, like, super exciting. Those coming back another year, you really have to show visible improvement to really get the buff. So I think that Juzang does regret not coming back. But if they win a national championship this year, I don't think he's going to be mad. I was talking to Moni Bates. Thank you for that one, Ryan. I appreciate that. You're absolutely correct. Best fit for Paolo. Yeah. Pacers seem interesting for him. I think the Thunder could be good too. I think Jabari Smith is the big, like, if you're looking for a scorer, like, everybody's looking at Jabari just because he's got such a great outside shot. He can rise and create over everybody. But Paolo can work the mid-range. He's got a nice turnaround jumper. Like, he's got some moves. He can play closer to the paint too. He's got more of an ISO game to him. I'm very curious to see, as far as Paolo, maybe best fits, like, at the top of the draft, because we're saying 1 through 3, so any lottery team, obviously, like, the Kings would fucking love him. Let's put it that way. The Kings would love him. The Pacers would love him. The Thunder would love him. The Spurs low-key would be interesting, and the Blade, yeah, like, literally, I don't think there's a bad pick because he's such a good player. Yeah, such a good player for him. What's next? Best perimeter defender in this class. If we're talking wings, we are 100% talking about Tari Eason as the best defender in this class. If we're talking guards, quick scroll. I think a lot of people are interested in, like, Dyson Daniels as far as being, like, a first-round pick. Like, I think that he's got good perimeter defense, but as far as being, like, a lockdown guard defender, I don't know. AJ Griffin can kind of switch on, like, on and off the wing. He will lose to first-step guards, like, really quick guards, but his size just gives him such an advantage. Oh, Trevor Keels, probably. That's probably who is the best guard defender right now in this class. So I think he's first-round talent, too, just because of his defense. Like, it's insane. They can smother. That team is so loaded, and that's not fair at all. I'm looking through this class, like, Jeremy Sochan, very good, very switchable, but I don't think he's not smothering defense. He can switch literally 2 through 5. Some people say 1. I think that's just Baylor being Baylor because they're Baylor and, like, everybody plays plus defense for him there. And then same thing, Kendall Brown, like, again, really good defender, but how much of that is Baylor and playing with other plus defenders that just amplifies that even more for them. Let's see. Dole, do you think the extra COVID year will water down this draft or unexpected quality of depth in the rookie class? I think the depth. Honestly, I think the depth. I think we're seeing I've scouted so many guys who are like 5th year, 6th year seniors. I think there's 4 of them who are NBA talent, like at least G League talent, coming out this year. So I think it's helped. I think a lot of guys have benefited from the additional year of college who wouldn't have already had that opportunity. So I do like the extra year for COVID. I think that it's fair. I think that a lot of people have had their lives screwed over by this. Not only like everything off the court, obviously terrible, but as far as the on the court, I know like the Pac-12 last year was janky. I know so many teams had so much travel, all their prep, all their routines, all the workouts. Everything was fucked up. So I totally am good with the extra COVID year for a lot of these guys. I'm glad they were able to take advantage of it. Did Rocco improve his stock or no? Honestly, no. He's not been as good of a scorer. I think the skill set's still there, though. I think he's a smart basketball player who's got good size, got a bunch of tools. I just think the shot's not there. I think he's got to work on that. A lot of people really intrigued by him. I'm surprised he pulled out so late last year. Really disappointing because I thought he was, back half of the first round talent. This year, if he came out, he might get. I think he might get an offer for a second rounder and to stay overseas. I think it would benefit him a lot if he came over and worked in the G League with NBA level trainers and staff. Got more minutes, got more time. But I do think that Rocco is someone who has definitely hurt his stock a lot because he's not back. Terrence Shannon. Fucking rough, man. Another guy who came back, was a top of the second round guy last year. Didn't get better. His role changed on the team a little bit. He had some struggles early in the year. His game, he's a tweener. He's a tweener who needs the ball in his hands, which hurts even more. I think that he is likely staying. I don't believe he should come out this year either. I think you might as well just go on. One more year won't hurt you. I like that these are upperclassmen questions. We got a lot of these guys coming back. Ron Harper and Scottie Pippen Jr. gonna get drafted or go undrafted. I think that Ron Harper Jr. has the better chance. I think Scottie is good, but his dad did not do him any favors. Obviously, he's been going on crazy but batshit rants just to draw attention. It's almost like it's not quite, Ball family, LeVar Ball bullshit, but like it ain't good. And the fact that, everybody's clowning on, his mom for dating around with former NBA players. There's a lot of stuff he has to overcome in the locker room. I think he's just undersized though. At the end of the day, like if you look at him from a basketball skill set, like, and just to be totally honest, he's a good bench scorer, potentially facilitator, like plus, but I think that he's kind of like a microwave kind of guy off the bench. Ron Harper Jr. has good size. I think that he could be a late 2, but I've got them both, I think, as undrafted free agents right now. And Ron might make it in. Now that we're down a couple picks this year, because remember, we did forfeit a couple second-round picks this year due to shenanigans in the NBA being ridiculous. A couple guys get knocked off the board, but I think both of them probably go undrafted if you made me answer right now, they're both undrafted free agents. Both will work out and find either two-way deals or G League deals. I think both can make the league at the back end of the bench. Yeah, I like them. They're both smart players, but yeah, they both have a lot to overcome. Spurs using all 3 first-round picks? Absolutely, the Spurs are going to use all 3 first-round picks. I think this is a Spurs team that's finally flipping that switch, and it feels like Doc got his win. We're all thrilled for him. He's the all-time winningest coach. He's the greatest coach of all time by a lot of people's standards. I know that Phil's up there. I know there's some oldies who are up there too. But hey, all-time winningest coach, all the respect in the world. If he wants to keep going, great, but he's got some really nice young pieces. And I think that if they can trade up for a star, an absolute star in this group, if they can package 7+, what would their next pick be? 7 plus 17 or 7 plus 21, whatever it is, they should. The top of this class, if you can get top 3 or 4, if Jaden Ivey is selected in that top 3, he shouldn't be, but if they do get up to that top 4 grouping, oh, they should do it. They should pull the fucking trigger on that and get a second star. Like, they would thrive. They've got so many guys in the backcourt. They got to figure out what to do with Lonnie Walker this offseason. That's number one. But Devin Vassell is the truth. Keldon Johnson's good. DeJounte Murray, I know he was an all-star level player. I know he is doing everything. I know he's a great defender. His shot efficiency has a long way to go. And I think that if he has more talented guys around him, maybe he will stop taking as many poor quality shots. That's my hope for that team. I think that Jakob Poeltl is one of the best, if second best, only to Rudy Gobert as far as rim protectors. Like, they've got so many nice pieces. They need to consolidate and move up, ideally. But I could see them deciding that, hey, we're going to let some guys go. We're going to move off of some pieces and continue to shuffle through this roster until we find somebody we really love. Easily could see them pull that route. Why not more love for Michael Foster Jr.? Because he's boring. Because he does nothing special. Because he is a adequate level G League center. For his age, he's good, obviously. But there's nothing about his game that pops. He's not a crazy, 7-8 wings, like the crazy wingspan guys. He's not a crazy guy as far as his defensive metrics. He can't defend on the perimeter. He's just more of a traditional center. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's nothing that makes him stand out against other top centers. Like, if you looked at the center position, just from here, Chet, I think, is power forward, but Duren, Mark Williams, Kessler, Koloko, Kamagate, all of these guys are very, very good at specific things. Some of the best shot blockers we've ever seen at the same time. I just don't believe that Michael Foster has either enough floor spacing, enough ability to guard the perimeter and switch. He just seems like the plain Jane safe center. He's not going to be a bad player, but he's a bench center right now as it stands. I think that he will get a look. I just don't know if it'll be worth it, you could take an upperclassman like Oscar and feel okay about yourself. I know he's got some sizing issues being 6'9", but he's tough. He fights for rebounds. Worst case scenario, you get yourself basically like a shorter Hassan Whiteside. Oh no, that's the worst thing ever. He's a defensive, high effort guy. I know he's got some concerns. Perhaps people have tossed around about his personality, the way he's transferred, and some thoughts around that shit. But he's a very hardworking, undersized center, and I think that is right around where he would be in the same range, I think, as Michael Foster, purely because of the age diff. Jumping through some more holes. Like last year's draft, haven't heard much buzz about him this year, so risk opinion. Do you think Fanbo Zhang will stay another year in the G? Feel like that'd be best for him? Yeah, I agree. I don't think he should. Well, if someone takes a stab at him, sure, if he gets promised out of nowhere. But I think another year in the G League would do him a lot of work. 100% agree with you, Ryan. Yeah, Ron Harper Jr. shoot to his chest. Yep, very good point. I think that, again, he's got a lot of nice tools, but he's just not good enough yet. He's playing well. Did Hardy hurt his stock in the G League move? Absolutely. He absolutely hurt his stock in the G League. I don't think it's anything to do with the fact that nothing's wrong with his game. He takes really bad shots. I think it's basketball IQ. I think his shot form it can get inconsistent, but that's the thing with younger guys is as the season goes on, they try tweaking different things, and I know the coaching staff has a part in that, and it's different games you'll see slightly different variations of where he settles his shot and starts his shot from. But I think it would have happened regardless. My only guess is if he played at a school where there was more of an old school coach who reined him in more, he had a better shot of staying lottery area. Yes. I forget, where was he committed? Did he have any commits prior to going to the G League? If you guys know for Hardy, let me know in chat. G League 3-point size. Yep. Zhang owns his rights. That would be interesting. I don't know with everything going on in China how that would work out. for Zhang. Oh, I see what you mean. They could use Jakob to pair up with their picks for the Spurs to move up. Totally could. Totally could. College players, believe they improve. I'm going to jump around. Sorry. Taking me a second to read. Where do you think Travion will go in this draft? End of the first, start of the second. Travion Williams, super good upperclassman, small ball 5, comes off the bench for Purdue. Will likely come off the bench for the NBA as well to start his career. He's a smart player. He's got good size, good toughness, really good connector passer, moves the ball well from the post. You'll love to see him. I'm trying to think of like a role player who kind of does similar things to him, but I don't have a direct comp off the top of my head. I think he's got a really, really smart game. I think he'll translate really well. And, as you continue to surround him with better spacing on the floor at the NBA level, he'll keep thriving. So, yeah, I really like his game. I think he'll continue to do really well. What's your thoughts on the Ignite program as a whole? I think it's dope. I really wish that they would do better as far as coaching staff is concerned. Like, what's the goals of the staff versus what's the goals of these kids? I don't think they're aligned. I think the staff at times seems like they're over-involved when it comes to trying to create opportunities for these kids to play basketball, whereas I feel like they should be coaching them how to play in the NBA. It shouldn't be have a spotlight game for Dyson Daniels. Now let's have a spotlight game for Hardy. Now let's have a spotlight game for... No, we should be playing basketball, and they should be playing the style of the NBA. I know the NBA and the G League game are different games, but right now it seems so player-driven as far as how they're stylized. They don't keep anyone in check. It feels... Obviously, it's very fast, free-flowing games, but I feel like they can do a whole lot better as far as teaching them the NBA game. There's a big gap there, and I think that they need to do a better job of coaching. I don't care for Duren just because he's too reliant on athleticism. Soapy, I disagree. I love Duren because of his athleticism. Obviously, the second he loses that, he's shit, but that's every center. Like, name a center who has no athleticism. Like, it just they all are athletic for their size. He's played so well since Emoni Bates has been done for the year. I'm encouraged to see him playing well on the perimeter. He checks guys. He comes back. He is a great he has a good quickness as far as if he goes out to the perimeter, checks somebody, and they try to blow by him, he can close that gap on with a quick turn, slap the ball, goes for blocks. Like, he's really good. He's very, very good. And I get the value of the center position is why he is as low as he is right now. But I think he's played some of his best basketball down the stretch. He's put up dramatically better numbers since Amoni's left the team. And I think that he's still super young. So everything across the board says he is a top talent in this class. Really, it's just the fact that Memphis is a really poorly run program that's holding him back. And that's a shame because I love Penny Hardaway. I love the staff. They've got guys on there from like the Phoenix training staff when Devin Booker was brought up. Like, so many pieces made sense, but it just never came together. Poor recruiting, poor coaching, and a lot of kids' egos is what I've been hearing because Penny Hardaway puts them all on blast. Interesting decision as a professional. If you guys haven't listened to the My Two Thoughts or Penny for Your Thoughts podcast, whatever it's called, it does weekly segments. Very interesting. Seems very transparent about his players and how they're doing. All right. Making my way to the bottom of this. I love it. Which player would you place your money on to fail or be awful? I already picked my fight with Jaden Ivey at the top of the draft class. I think that MarJon Beauchamp is someone who I don't know why people love him so much. He's 20 already. He reminds me so much of Hamidou Diallo. It terrifies me. He's an athletic fucking monster who happens to be really good at dunking and finishing plays. His shot's bad. It's inconsistent. Did I mention his shot is bad and inconsistent together? he's such a raw athlete. And the fact that he's already a year older, I don't know how Tankathon can have him at 16. That to me is crazy. It blows my goddamn mind. He doesn't know how to play fucking basketball yet. Incredible athlete. Again, I cannot overstate how fucking crazy it is to have his size, his athleticism, his explosiveness. But he needs to learn how to play the game of basketball still. He needs to have his shot fixed. There's so much room to grow. Again, I see him very similar to Hamidou Diallo was coming out, which means there's hope. Like he's not a useless product, but I don't think you can take him at 16 and feel like he can play in the NBA right now. He can't. What kind of wine is that? You're a wine guy. No wine tonight, just water. I want to keep sober for this episode. I figure first day back, let's go serious. Let's go all in. Might relax as time goes on, but I appreciate the question. I am wine guy. You are correct. What would you say to Travion is similar to Thad Young? Oh, late career Thad Young. Like Bulls Thad Young. Sophie, I fucking love you, man. Yes, that's actually, like, early career Thad Young was so dominant, so good, as seen by all the hilarious stats that include him, like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, as, like, the 5 guys who've done XYZ stat lines. I think Travion is a late career Thad Young who is going to have that lower usage, but be able to do a little bit of everything for your team and make the right play, the winning play for your team. I love that. It's a great comp. Dollar Store Zebo is hilarious, though. PB&J. Holy shit, I forgot about him, Ryan. Patrick Baldwin Jr. Now, we were talking about players who we think are going to fail. I'm on the side of no. I don't think Patrick Baldwin Jr. will fail. I think that he had perhaps one of the most horrific years of college basketball that I've ever seen, though. Decided to go, for those who don't know, he decided to go to UW Milwaukee. And coached by his dad, interesting choice. First of all, he had offers to every A-tier school in the fucking NCAA. Chose to go play for his dad at a very small college. Asked to do a lot. It just exposed every possible hole in his game. He's a catch-and-shoot god. His shot motion is great. I think his shooting splits this year were putrid. I think he was playing around guys who are far below his talent level, and therefore every team could turn and double. They switched heavily onto him. They pretty much, the game plan was shut down Patrick Baldwin Jr., and he crumbled. That doesn't mean he can't do the things that he was already really good at the next level. Like, he's a great catch-and-shoot player. He's got good size, and the ability to shoot with that size is where his value is. Now, the fact that we're kind of brought to reality as far as his expectations, he's not a primary ball handler. He's not going to be in the same mold of like a Michael Porter Jr. He can't be that kind of guy. He is not a Jabari Smith. There is so much of a gap. Like, I laugh about how bad Jabari Smith is dribbling a basketball. And look, he is not good, but he is miles ahead of PB&J as far as, his offensive role. So I think that one, very interesting call out. I forgot about him. Who do I like more, Bryce McGowan or PB&J? I will still take, it depends on the system, but I would still take Patrick Baldwin Jr. probably over him. I think McGowan's, I love that he goes downhill. I love that he gets to the line so much. But his three-point shot scares me. And I think that I weigh the value of efficiency and shooting so much higher than I think a lot of the scouts that I listen to, a lot of the guys who are draft analysis guys. I'm an efficiency guy. It's why I overrate guys like Wendell Moore. I see him here at 22, and I'm like, seems a little low for a do-it-all guy who comes in, he's able to play the 1, 2, the 3, defend all 3 positions, be an above-average passer, be only 20 still, and be so goddamn good. I get it. He's not the guy to carry an offense. He's not a guy who's going to put up 20 a night, but he could put up, like 12, 5, and 5, and be pretty good at it. So I think that there's a lot of upside for guys who, have that efficiency to their game, and I'll take them over guys who, maybe a little less. Beauchamp is more Sean Marion than Diallo. Interesting thought. I don't know. I mean, I see where, from a shot standpoint, you would ride that point in. I totally get that. I don't know. I think maybe it's just because it's the more recent comp, and Shawn Marion played a different age of basketball. And I know it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it really is like a generation back as far shit too almost back from where we're at now. So I watched Hamidou in college. I've watched him in the NBA, and the way he is used gives me that thought of like I could see MarJon translate exactly the same way. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm clamping on too closely as far as that comp. But hey, I'll go back and reevaluate. I appreciate that point of view. Soapy. I think there's a chance Kamagate gets chosen first round this year. Yes, absolutely. He is a draft and stash guy who looks really good. If you brought him over, he would play in the G League anyway. Right now, he's getting good minutes, so it's like, meh, toss-up. I think he's very good, though. I really like Ismael. And I think it's funny because I only saw him because I was watching Victor from next year's class, and I saw Ismael Kamagate block the ever-loving shit out of him. And then I watched the whole game. I was like, oh my god, this guy's a fucking terror out there. So I love it. I absolutely love him, and I think that he's a really good center to stash for another year and then bring him over. If you do bring him over right away, I get it. It speeds things up. If you're a bad team, if you're a team like the OKC Thunder, 100% bring him over tomorrow. It's all situational. But yes, he is back in the... He's picked 28, 29, 30 in the first round. I would have no problems with that selection, assuming he's somewhere roughly in BP at that point. Usman Dieng. I talked about a little bit earlier. He has had 1 month of good basketball. He's 6'10". He is long. He is athletic. He's a good defender. That is everything that we've seen out of him. He's now started to put together some offensive game after his injury. He's come back. Looked pretty good. Pretty good is not lottery. Pretty good is barely first round. I do agree with that decision. But I think this is hilarious. Malachi Branham, someone who stormed the boards late, one of the best shooting guards on this board. He should be way higher. Nicola Jovic, way higher. Kenny Chandler is in the fucking first round. He's 6 foot tall, wearing fucking inserts in his shoes. No way can you take Kenny Chandler in the first round. That's a guy you asked earlier, who do I not believe in? Kenny Chandler is a guy who's going to come off the bench, be a bench point guard, and be pretty okay for you. But if you took him at 19, you would be so disappointed. He's not a good enough shooter. He's not a good enough finisher. His size is a liability. He doesn't have elite catch and shoot. There's so many holes to this game, and his size will never change. How could you take him that high? I don't know. My boy Sharif Cooper, I'm still pissed about him last year. He deserves to get fucking minutes on the Hawks right now, but neither here nor there. Did I rant about Ivy yet? Yeah, I hit the Jaden Ivey rant about him being a disappointment to me out the gates. Yeah, sorry, Jake, you missed that one. Do you think the Pacers will stand pat or trade, or where do you see the balls bounce? Right now, two firsts and an early second? Is that... okay. They need talent. They need to clear house. And this is Rick Carlisle doing what Rick Carlisle did best for Mavs. He got them Luka Doncic by stealth tanking. He's doing the same thing on the Pacers. I watched him pull out guys who are killing it. Isaiah Jackson, someone who I think he was 8 of 8 or 9 of 9. He's get him the fuck off the court. He's doing the right thing. I give him credit for not having, he has no, what's the word I'm looking for? Pride. He has no pride in the fact that, he knows what's best for the franchise, and he will do it. He understands that the losing year this year is the best thing to set this team up for success going forward. I fucking love that they got Halliburton. I think they are fucking gods for pulling off that deal. And I love Sabonis. But I will 100% side with Halliburton on this one. It's not even close. So the fact that they can roll forward with Halliburton as their primary creator, if they decide to keep Brogdon next year, cool. If they decide to move on from him, I understand. But they have a bunch of interesting young pieces that none of them seem like they fit 100% locked in. So I think you just draft BPA. I want them to draft everything. I want them to trade away some of their pieces currently under contract. I think that's the goal. If they could package and move up, that would be the goal. I think we were talking about the Spurs potentially doing that. I think the Pacers are in a better position to do that. They've got tradable pieces. Yes, 100%. I think that the Pacers have a team that they could flip over, be an incredibly fun young team. Somebody's got to play some goddamn defense out there outside of Hallie, though. Like, I'm going to put that out there. Josh Giddey better passer than Cooper. Shut the fuck up, Ryan. You're so wrong. You're so incredibly wrong. Do you know how wrong you are right now? You're so fucking wrong. Cooper was the best passer, best facilitator, best floor general in that draft class last year. He was so slept on, and he's going to get his chance next year. He better get his chance next year. He's killing it. Yeah, Carla just stopped the game to kill his own momentum with 2 minutes left. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah, Carlisle's a genius. He's playing 4D chess out here, trying to lose the Pacers games because he wants the higher draft pick. He knows where they're at. He's all about the odds. Trust him. Trust him. There's so much good shit for them in this draft class. Like, this is a year. Like, look at what the Rockets did in 1 year. The Rockets last year took JG4, which is looking better and better by the day, which is good because a lot of people clown on him for having a poor first half, which can be attributed to a myriad of things. Not only being the fact that they decided to start Tice on their fucking starting lineup next to Christian Wood is the dumbest shit Silas could possibly do. But then the continually feeding, bad minutes to older players. Kevin Porter Jr. experiment at point guard. I don't know if you want to call it a success. I don't know if you want to call it a failure. All I know is it hasn't helped out JG4 as much as it should. Josh Green's a Mav. Why did I even... Anyway, JG4 right off the bat. Şengün fucking nailed it. Got my boy, I think he was 5 on my big board late in the first round. And then they added Jacob. Then they added... before Jacob, they got international hurt defensive wing prospect who I can't remember his name. But yeah, and then they got Jacob. They signed Knicks. They fucking killed it. They got a whole goddamn team in one draft class. That is what the Pacers should do. They should go all in, load up this team. They're young, they're fun, offensively gifted. Carlisle will make sure of that. I'm really excited about what they could do going forward. I love this. I love the idea of the Pacers moving forward. I think that's probably one of the most fun young teams that we'll see just because their offensive game is just... Halliburton's such a goddamn good passer. Shut up, Jake. You're also wrong. Who's better next season, Knicks or Cooper? Knicks should get the opportunities on the Rockets. Cooper, I don't know if he will. Lou Will's done. I think that they should play him. I honestly think the Hawks should be playing him right now. I get why they don't. They're trying to make this push. It's been a disappointing year for them. They don't really have the time to... they don't have the patience to use Cooper right now. So I understand why they're going vet heavy because they're already behind the expectations. They're a team who succeeded last year in the playoffs and showed a lot. Gave a lot of people a lot of promise. Usman Garuba. That is 100% correct, Ryan. Thank you. That was the other player picked right after Şengün by the Rockets. We will see much out of him next year. But yeah, I think that the Hawks are just in that situation where they're so desperate right now to win and show up and be there for the playoffs that they got to go vets. I hope Cooper gets his chance next year because I think that he would be a starter or getting serious minutes on many teams. I think he's backup point guard worthy on a ton of teams, and he could probably start for 2 already. So where we're at. What Greek player can the Bucks take this year? Fucking good question, man. That's a great question. I don't know. I'm not big on the Greek players coming out this year. Sorry about that one. That is a weak spot. I will work on that going forward. All right, we've been here for just over an hour. I've had fun rattling off and speed running your questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Draft, big board, anything related? Otherwise, I will be wrapping this thing up. It's fun to be back. Fun to do an episode again, and I appreciate the questions and the conversation. I'd like to do like this is one right before the tournament, so there's something right there. I think that guys who need to have big tournaments to prove something. I think Jabari Smith is a. I was joking with Jake earlier. His biggest problem is the two guards on the team who think they're better players than him, who are taking shots away from him. Auburn's going to be in a potential rough situation because of that. Keegan Murray's been great. Johnny Davis has been great. LSU's defense got clamps like for days. Mathurin, Arizona's very good. Like, so many of these teams in the tournament are going to be really good. Kendall Brown, though. Fucking love that kid. Got him way higher. Love the potential. Ooh, John with the Jean Montero question. What is up with that guy in the Overtime Elite? Okay. So the Overtime Elite, for those of you who don't know, was like this mini league spun up basically for a handful of these high prospects, but guys who didn't quite like. It's like basically like high school plus. You know, it's not quite college competition, but it's also much better than high school like academy AAU bullshit. So it's this interesting tweener league with potentially some of the worst coverage I've ever seen. In order to box score their games, you're going to Twitter. In order to get highlights and stuff, it's nothing's convenient, nothing's together. It's perhaps one of the most poorly like openly like transparent leagues. Like the NBL is awful website as far as stats. Somehow Overtime Elite's worse. But I think he's hurt his draft stock quite a bit. It's sad because I think he's a good player, but he felt the pressure going in and tried to do too much. From what I've seen out of him, and I followed like there's a whole series that they toss out on YouTube, which is really interesting. It's more of like the behind the scenes of the Overtime Elite crew, and it's fun. But the more you see it, the more you watch it, the more you see him, and I think he's a good player. I just think that he's small and he feels the need to take shots, and he is shooting his way down the draft board. He could be a good passer. It's very hard to tell right now. I've seen some magical passes out of him, but at the same time, he's not looking. He's not looking for the passes as often as he should be as a point guard. As a small point guard, he is trying to create shots for himself so often. And again, that's part of it I want to asterisk with, hey, it's the Overtime Elite. It's all about him. It's all about trying to create that opportunity to shine. So you want to be the guy. I think it's hurt him. I think it's hurt him more than helped him, which is a damn shame because I think he's talented, but I think he's fallen basically almost to the back end of the first round draft. I think 21 is high. The Tankathon has him here. So, yeah. Dyson Daniels, lottery talent? Absolutely. Lottery talent is very, very... I feel very confident with him going lottery. Look, he's a... So what's a fun comp? He's like Lonzo Ball in the fact that he is a point guard who doesn't necessarily have to have the ball in his hands. He's great in transition. He can take threes. Defensively, he switches everywhere. I think like a scuffed Lonzo Ball is a good starting point for him. And he's shown that he's really smart about the way he plays. He is high effort. He's just a really high quality player. That's why I said he's a standout from this G League group. I'm really excited about that. So I think that, yeah, as far as getting someone who can be an on-ball, off-ball point guard in that same vein, he's excellent. So absolutely lottery talent, 100% in my mind. Auburn's point guard sucks. You are correct, John. OT, paid prep school talent at best. Yeah, there's a couple cool guys there. DY, I think that there's... Shit, I was joking around with Jake about this maybe 2-3 weeks ago. OTE rosters. There's a couple of guys on OT who are very interesting. One of them's got a hilarious name. He just came back from an injury semi-recently. Nope. Kokyat. Kokyat. If you guys haven't seen this guy, fucking watch the clips. He is absolutely a fucking monster. If there's one guy believing, and he decommitted from DePaul, which is a damn shame. But Overtime Elite, I think that's a decommit at least, because when was that from? Is he eligible? Yeah, decommit, Overtime Elite. Like 6'9". Yeah, I think if he comes out, super interested in him. He is someone who looks fucking great. I know that right now, I don't know if he's technically he would have to be, right? Because if he went to there instead of college, yeah, I think he's the guy you look out for. I think he's got crazy good potential. Just super built body, really good athlete. Looks like his shots coming together. Excited to see him. I think he might be most interesting prospect outside of the group. Montero, lottery athleticism. No. Like 30. Yeah, 30. Okay, so here's a question for you, John. And I know this is my show. J.D. Davison or Gene Montero? Who would you take? Because I think J.D. Davison is an elite athlete. He's 6'3", so a little bit taller than Gene. But he is so wildly inconsistent that, a lot of people are like, he should go back another year. He should become their primary guy next year. Do you think he's still a first-round guy? Because his shot's pretty terrible at times. Other times he hits it. But, yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens as far as his situation goes, because I think that I've seen enough highlight plays out of JD that like he's got NBA level athleticism. He's got a great mind for passing the ball, but I don't know that he's got a good enough shot that I would say he's a first round guy this year. I don't think he is. I think that he just falls out. But the fact that you're saying Montero, like 35 is his falling, like that's the, he won't fall past there. Do you think JD's in the same category? Yeah. Okay, so draft eligible guys, Barlow, Yat, and Montero. Okay, yeah. Thompson twins and Briley twins, Tyler Smith, best prospects over there. Okay. Appreciate the insight. Yeah, like I said, basically the problem for me is just getting to watch the games because there's so little whole footage to go through. And stats-wise, it's a pain in the ass. All right. I think we're wrapped up. I think we're good. Session 1, day 1, NBA draft chat. Good to go. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Hour 14, 15. Yeah, right around that point. Montero over Davison. Montero has that first change. Yeah, he does. Change of direction, crossover. His handles are tighter. I agree. Appreciate that, John. So yeah, that'll do it. Thanks so much for joining me today. And I look forward to doing more draft stuff coming out soon. So keep an eye out. You'll see me much more active. If you guys have any questions, drop them in Discord. I'll always answer there. You guys know I'm in there, living in there. That'll do it. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.